All right, if I can just at least reach one person today, and I'm choosing Sandy Gregg. So Sandy Gregg, I'm going to give you a little bit of information so you don't stay stuck in the rut of the anti-vax world. Okay? This is where you need to pay attention to my information. Okay? Vaccines are not the reason behind cancer. Period, point blank, end of story. Viruses were here long before vaccines ever were. Humans dying were here long before vaccines ever were created. Humans have been around longer than the medical community have been around. Vaccines are not the reasons behind cancer. Period, point blank. Humans have been dying for eons. Animals have been dying for eons. What causes death? It's rampant viruses that the body is not able to kick out. And guess what? Those viruses program you. And they program you to pass away, not because it's like they're evil. There is nothing evil about viruses. They're just a life form that wants to live and will take over an immunocompromised, weak body. It's called predator and prey. If you are full of viruses and you're aging and you're dying, you are now being scavenged or scavengered on. You are being preyed upon a stronger life form than you. So which is it going to be, Sandy? Are you going to be the stronger life form, or is that virus going to be a stronger life form? It really is only only one winner here. You or the virus. You or the parasite. You or the fungus. That's what it comes down to, predator and prey. You may have certain weaknesses in your body, and some people, when they see that they have a starting of cancer, guess what they do? They cut it out. And then hopefully they leave enough healthy tissue for you to keep going on. But guess what? The person still has the programming. They still have the viruses in their body that's programming and replicating. And then guess what? The cancer spreads. And then what does a person do? Well, they go find some like kind of drug, or they cut off the organ, or they cut out the cancerous portion of the body. And then the body adapts until the next thing. Vaccines are not the cause of cancer. It's the viruses that are causing cancer. Viruses have been around for freaking years. Okay? Microbes have been around for years. Microbes have been around for years. People have been dying for centuries. It's because it is a stronger life form. We know what life is when you're strong at some point. Life is when something lives, it means it's strong against anything out there. If you're living, it means that you're pretty much stronger against the other life forms out there. But when you die, it means now you are the weakest life form. Dead people are the weakest life form because they could not withstand their environment or the other microbes or living things. Okay? So you can be a huge elephant and a microbe can take you down. Yeah, people don't get this. Thank you, Roxy. People don't fucking get this. They want to stay stuck in their activism blaming because they don't understand the actual pure science behind this. I had to get off my goddamn activism. I had to get out of the anti-vax world, out of the GMO world, out of the politics world, because those politics also contribute to the degradation. Because now what you're doing is you're weakening your body with all that negative activity of bashing Trump, bashing Warren, bashing everybody. And guess what? You're contributing to the degradation of humanity because you're not strengthening your body, strengthening your immune system, and you're pathogenic. It is too bad that doctors aren't smart enough to know all this. But remember, they're tied to the AMA. They can induce pain. Because guess what? Once they induce pain, guess what? They have now malpractice lawsuits all upon them. Doctors have painted themselves in a corner. They joined a club that doesn't really understand the human body. They joined a club where all they're doing is trying to cater to their customers who want to be drugged the fuck out. Customers want to be drugged out. So that's what doctors cater to, are the drug addicts. I'm sorry, somebody has to say it. I'm sorry, but somebody has to say it. So vaccines are not the cause of cancer. It's the viruses on the biodiversity, and we as humans are smarter than the animals. Now, if we own pets, we can actually mitigate against the virus programming in our pets. If we're smart enough to know how to apply this, we have children, we can basically combat these virus programming in our children. But an animal out there in the wild is not going to know how to basically understand how to deal with lactobacillus, cabbage water, and pink Himalayan salt. They're not going to know this. So guess what? They will live long enough until the microbes overtake them and then they pass away. I mean, you've seen mange in wild animals. I mean, the wildlife, the wildlife game wardens, when they see like a coyote full of mange coming into the area, they see if it's like going to act crazy and bite somebody and then spread some kind of disease. So they go and see, and then they see that the coyote that's full of mange, which is microbes. So they know that coyote is dying from the microbes, but they want to make sure that it's not like, going crazy, and they see it running away. So they leave it alone. But if they see like a coyote walking towards humans and not afraid of humans, and they're full of viruses that have been around for freaking centuries, and they see it's going to be a public nuisance and a public health problem, yeah, they will put that coyote out of commission because it doesn't have any fear now, and it'll bite somebody and cause issues in that community. Viruses have been around for years. That is what's behind cancer, not the vaccines. This is for you, Sandy Grace. So if I can reach you, Sandy, maybe I could reach your people, because then you will relay the right information, not pass along activist information that is causing people to be distracted by the wrong info. Viruses left unresolved, viruses not kept under control is what's behind cancer, disease, and chronic illness. And it's not from the vaccine. Bacteria can be good or bad. It's a living thing. They can live on their own. Viruses have to be attached to a host. They're parasitic. Okay? Bacteria is like, like fungus is like a type of, fungus is a fungus. But you have so many different bacteria, but there's good bacteria and there's bad bacteria. There's good mold and bad mold. Just Google it, Roxy. Just Google it. But I'm really speaking to Sandy Gregg so she understands this. Because no matter what, if you're unvaccinated or if you're vaccinated and you have a high titer or a low titer and you have a weak body and a weak immune system, it won't matter if you're exposed to a vaccine, because if you expose to that disease in the population, you're going to be taken down relative to your biochemistry. And then guess what? When you get exposed to all these different diseases and you have now you have a high titer, but you have a very low functioning body, you could die from an exposure. So simply being anti-vax is actually really dangerous. Don't pass along dangerous information. Pass along my information, because regardless of your political stance, your body will be protected. And you will have, if you do get exposed to a virus that your body doesn't recognize, or a pathogen your body doesn't recognize, you will have a high titer for a minute. And then eventually, go get a titer test. And if you don't get the vaccine, and then have that be the pass that you give to your government if they want to see you have protection, and then go and dilute so those antibodies don't agglutinate and turn into cancer, disease, and chronic illness, autoimmunity, and who knows whatever else. No, actually not. No, there is not. They're not stemming from the viruses in the vaccine. No, Sandy. Absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. And I'm going to take you off my Facebook because I don't think you get it. And I'm not going to have you pass on wrong information. You are part of the problem, Sandy Gregg. And I'm going to be frank. You are part of the problem. Because now you're putting somebody who has a very weak body and a weak immune system in mortal danger. Yes, you are the problem, Sandy. Because now this scared person who has a weak body and a weak immune system exposed to someone like you, you will decimate that person's body and decimate their whole family. Yeast are not viruses, Sandy. I'm done. Done with you. I gave you a chance. Then stop saying that virus or that vaccines caused cancer, because they don't. You need a layer of protection. Whether you get it in a vaccine or you get it in your environment, but you get it in your environment, you better have a strong enough body and a strong enough immune system to withstand that exposure. If you don't, you would die from a simple exposure to the common cold. You would die from a simple exposure to whatever that's out there. You don't want to put that kind of information out there at all, Sandy. You are part of the problem if you keep promoting anti-vax propaganda. That is what's causing all these pandemics. Now, people who are vaccinated not taking care of their bodies are also causing pandemics because they're high titers and they're pathogenic. So guess what? Both the anti-vax and the pro-vax who don't take care of their bodies are the ones causing the pandemics. So now you go figure. Now it's all agglutinating together. The anti-vax and the pro-vax people who don't take care of their bodies, keeping those antibodies at bay, they're agglutinating all these different viruses. And guess what? They created the pandemic, the epidemics that are out there. Okay? Yeast is not a virus. Yeast is a fungus. You guys just use Google. Just Google this shit. This is not that difficult. Google it. Bacteria can live on its own. Viruses need a host. Fungus is yeast. It can live on its own as well, but not really, because it has to be in the right conditions for a fungus to grow. And there's different types of funguses, different types of bacteria. There's good and bad. There's different types of viruses. They're all bad. The flu virus. Go look at the CDC. Roxy Jensen, look at the CDC. That'll tell you all the viruses. Influenza virus. Go look at the vaccine schedule. The CDC has all the viruses. I've given you guys access to I've given you guys the access. You guys have access on your own. Go to the CDC. They will tell you. Go to ProMed. I gave you guys access. I gave you guys access again. I gave you guys a link that gives you all the viruses that are the new and emerging viruses in the world. ProMed. Go down my timeline if you want to keep track of all the different viruses. Okay? Just Google. Viruses need a host. You are the host. So you're either going to take on the virus programming or you're going to kick out that programming and let finally your body have the program that it was meant to have. And then watch your body change. Oh my God. Watch your body change. Viruses program people to be fat, skinny, mutated, cancer, disease, and chronic illness, mental disorders, neurological disorders, brain disorders, every skin disorders, organ disorders. Okay? It's behind cancer. And no, the vaccines didn't start at all. Vaccines came way after the start of microbes. Okay? Humans didn't come before microbes. Microbes became before humans. Okay? You guys got to know this information. And so I've seen your stuff, Sandy, and I'm like, I wasn't sure exactly which. I see your stuff go here, and I see you rooting for me, but then I see you pass along all this anti-vax stuff, and I'm just like, oh God. But you got to get it because you are an influence in your world. All of you guys are, and if you don't have the right information, guess what? You're contributing to then all the misinfo, all the disinfo. You guys got to have the right information, understand how this world works. Get off your goddamn activism. It's not helping you or humanity. It really isn't. Being anti-GMO is not helping humanity. It really is not. It's just contributing to the distractions that we have out there. It's no different than going out and drinking and having a bunch of sex and not caring about your body when you're all about anti-vax, and anti-GMO, and anti-chemtrails, and anti-5G. It's no different than going to a football game and guzzling 10 beers. It's just a different hormonal response. That's all it is. Activism is contributing to the degradation of our society. We've got to stop this. Activism contributes to the misinfo and the disinfo campaigns. And believe me, the activists will not see it. They'll be more indignant and stubborn and stuck. All right. I'm glad to know that you get it, Sandy, because I think you get it, but you just need someone to really point it out to you. And since I didn't really know exactly how deep you are in this, some people are just fair weather watchers. They just like, oh yeah, I see Jillian stuff, but I'm still going to be like, anti-vax, and still be this. I have those people on my Facebook. I don't purposely go and target them because I don't want to confront anybody. But when someone shares my stuff and they don't promote J-Juice, then I get kind of annoyed, and then I'm like, and then I get really, because I want your friends. I don't have to sell the book. People buy my book, great. Okay? But I do have the recipe on my wall in my featured photos. My recipe is in my group. You got to buy the book to get in my group. But my recipe is all over my pictures. It's not hard to find my recipe. Anybody can get the recipe, but then really a really good discerning person would understand the protocol. But if somebody has like cellulitis or a staph infection and they need something topically and quick, they can make the recipe, wait the 3 days, do the recipe, and then soak their freaking legs so they don't have to suffer from pus draining off their leg. Yes, it's RNA, it's ribonucleic acid. It copies itself and it replicates. And it uploads the information into other cells and basically turns it into itself. Yes, a virus needs a host. It's the replication process. Yes. So that's a little bit of information for you guys. And hopefully this information, me, giving Sandy a bit of my attention, will help somebody else in the same thought process. Okay. All right. Thanks for getting it. Bye.